Noah is a real adjutant. I love the fact that he always backs up that energy, that aura that he has, but he be tweaking, dog. And I don't think it's his and again, I think off the track, he probably like is a really sweet guy. But on the track, he's a dick, man.
Okay, Rodney, let's get into the USA Track and Field Championship happening over the weekend. Our girl, Melissa Jefferson Wooden, is still the fastest woman. Of course, we had no doubt. We just talked to her a couple weeks ago. You all go check out that interview. But she was able to sweep the 100-meter and the 200-meter races, becoming the first American woman to do so since 2003.
Do you know why we knew she was going to be successful, Samaria?
Because she's accountable.
There we go. There we go. Continue.
But she wasn't just successful. Like, Melissa was really successful.
Yeah,
like,
she's incredible.
Like,
man.
It was not even really close. But of course, the big story was Noah Lyles, specifically in the 200-meter against Kenny Badnarek. Kenny was winning for most of the race until Noah Lyles, he does what Noah Lyles does. He came back. And when he beat him, he stared him down across the finish line. Kenny did not like that and proceeded to push him. After the race was over, I saw that Noah was like, I expect an apology. But Kenny has come out. You sent me that. What did Kenny say?
He just basically said that if there's a problem, we can talk about it after. It sounded like he really wanted to put a little fist to face. And Noah is a real adjutant. I love the fact that he always backs up that energy, that aura that he has. But he be tweaking, dog. And I don't think it's his. And again, I think off the track, he probably like is a really sweet guy. But on the track, he's a dick, man. But whatever you need to do to have that competitive advantage, that competitive edge, because in addition to the physical, we know that track is also a very, very mental sport. He's getting under the skin and into the minds of his competition, and something to be said for that.
Yeah, and that's also something that we talked to Melissa about a couple of weeks ago, just about how different athletes kind of get into their zone. She's like, I'm really quiet. I don't really say a whole lot. Noah has to feed into the crowd. Like, he does this. Like, that is what he likes to do. Unfortunately, I do feel like stare downs, I think that's kind of a part of sports. I don't know. I mean, I feel like we see that across different sports, especially if people been talking trash beforehand. What we don't want to see is pushing. I think that's where
pushing is where you draw the line.
We gotta
don't push
in track. In track,
where are we at as a society?
We're not fighting. We're not fighting in track.
Why?
Right.
Bring back fight. We fight in hockey. We fight in baseball sometimes. Like we need more physical.
And they
people like
out.
Fights, but why though? Should we be thrown out because we as gargantuan human beings with supernatural abilities decided to have a physical confrontation? I think fighting is okay. I don't know why we act as if fighting is like the worst thing athletes can do.
Listen.
No, like it's okay. I'm not mad at it.
I don't have an issue with fight. Okay.
Go ahead. No, because I'll get on my soapbox. Let me chill.
I'm not a fighter. I'm not a fighter myself. But what I will say is, don't push me in the back. Don't push me in my back. Like, I thought that was kind of lame, Rodney. Like, he could have walked up on him.
Yeah, but why do we listen? People have feelings. They have emotions, and in real time, I'm not always gonna assess where I should shove you. Right? It wasn't like he hit him with the two hand, like the all you can. He didn't hit him with the all you can. It was just like a little. I ain't like that energy.
No, he hit him with the two hand. He hit him with that Chris Paul.
It wasn't the all you can.
Yes,
it wasn't all you can. I think. Look, I live in Los Angeles, California, right? And out here on the West Coast, there's this thing called mad dogging, where if you look at somebody without words being exchanged, it has the potential to bubble into an actual physical altercation, whether that's a fighting, a stabbing, a shooting, whatever. Looking at somebody, a look, because 80% of communication is nonverbal. A look is very communicative in some regards. And Noah Lyles communicated something very loud and very rude, regardless of whether or not you or I can feel the real heat of the stare. That man felt like Noah disrespected him. And when a man is disrespected, he has the right to react and respond with whatever he deems to be necessary energy in return. So,
okay, see, I just looked it up, right? Because I was like, I know I've seen this before. Sha'Carri Richardson stared down her opponents.
I said men.
I'm just saying, what I'm trying to say is that it's a part of the sport, right? Like, it's a part of the sport. You stare down opponents. We've seen it before. I think that where, it gets a little tricky is when you decide to put your hands on people.
Yeah, cool. But also, we've seen people get dunked on in the NBA, right? And then some people can take it with a grain of salt. Rudy Gobert has been dunked on 1,000,000 times, whatever. And some people can't handle that level of embarrassment. You don't know what his triggers are. You don't know. So I can't help. I'm not everybody else. Don't compare me to everybody else's response and reactions.
But I'm just saying, if Rudy decided that one time he was going to get up
I would
and push somebody because
he
he
wasn't.
wasn't.
Him. I would applaud.
No,
finally,
we would be like Rudy.
Finally, you grabbed your nuts, Frenchman. Finally, you little baguette. Okay, you pastry.
He's not
you
little
Danish. You finally decided to be a real man out here. And he tried that in the playoffs, by the way, but needless to say, let's stay on the track. I do want to mention really quickly, in addition to Noah Lyles, we also saw a report that Sha'Carri Richardson was actually arrested last week for an assault of her boyfriend. Apparently, allegedly, he has failed to assist police in charging her. But that is something that took place in an airport, if I'm not mistaken. So while we mentioned Sha'Carri's name, I think it's important to note that also took place. So that kind of shove off the track where there is no competition and you should be a little bit more controlled, because there's not the intensity of a physical, of the physicality of our sport, surging through our body. We don't have that adrenaline rush. That is something that maybe you should keep your hands off of people in normal society. But in the sports realm, I'm okay with it.
And her boyfriend is also a U.S. sprinter. His name is Christian Coleman. I had to just look that up.
Yeah. He fast too, but he ain't win.
He spoke after, I guess, his race or whatever about the incident. He was just like, Sha'Carri has emotions and she's a human being. And, he was just like, I'm not even finna feed into none of that.
Protect your queen, brother.
I don't know. What I will say is that I'm scared of being on no-fly list. I need to fly. I'm not doing nothing in no airport. You're not going to catch me do a damn thing in an airport.
No. Although, sometimes some customer service agents really need a little... I had one. But anyway,
but that's because you be flying with Spirit.
Not for that flight, but I have flown Spirit. Let me just say, Spirit's go big section on they planes ain't bad. I'm telling you, we talked about this with Clinton Sparks. If you fly Spirit on a quick 2-hour flight and they go big section, it's pretty. Hey, listen.
But enough about what Rodney and I think. We want to hear from you all down in the comments. You let us know, what did you make of Noah Lyles staring down his opponent and then ultimately getting pushed in the back? Also, please go and check out our interview with Melissa Jefferson Wood, and she is a champion. She's the fastest woman right now. You go do that.
Right, and if you can't get enough sports, make sure you go to the link in our bio. Sign up for our newsletter, y'all. We're keeping sports-centric topics flowing all day long, and we may shove some information down your back, you know what I'm saying, as you digest all these things. Fumble. You feel what I'm saying? You see my little A&T shirt? Aggie Pride! Aggie Pride!